Radical.
I guess I'll choose to talk about this one. Got a little bit of a spare time today. Red Strass 97. Red Strass 97 came by and told me that there's a situation with YouTube backing Quantum Leap, and it's getting even worse. And he said they Camelot 331, ReviewTechUSA, they've had penalties put on their channel, and they might lose their monetization, and they have switched over to their backup YouTube streaming channels. Let's see where they get. They get lots of donations and everything. I don't really care for that. I think it's kind of scummy. But you all know how I feel. For anyone new here, I really don't like these e-beggars and their e-begging ways. But I mean, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about something more serious, more important, arguably more important, which is YouTube is going after these channels that talk about Quantum Leap. Now, you also mentioned why you understand if I might not want to talk about this, because the idea is, well, anyone that talks about Quantum Leap, YouTube might go after them, and they might, hurt their monetization or whatnot. With me, like, I'm generally going to talk about mostly whatever I want to talk about, only that I will take precautions, like in the title of this, I will put Quantum Leap and a picture of Scott Bakula, like I did last time, and nothing really happened. Now, some people might say, well, Rick, it's because, you have kind of a smaller channel compared to, Camelot 331 and ReviewTechUSA, and in a way that can actually be kind of a blessing, because, YouTube's attention is not going to be on this channel as much as those other channels. And for anyone that wonders why I don't have the biggest channel as Camelot 331, doggone it, or ReviewTechUSA is, well, I don't care to really devote all my time into growing the channel. If I wanted to, it's not that hard to get a channel as big as Camelot 331 or ReviewTechUSA. You just have to do certain things. And you have to sacrifice certain things like your morals. And, I just have no interest in growing the channel like that. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that stop by and tell me and explain to me how I'm less of a commentator than those channels because I don't have bigger numbers. It's actually kind of a blessing in several ways. Because right now I feel like I can mostly talk about anything, and YouTube's eyes are not upon me. If you're not getting attention a lot of the time, then you can pretty much do mostly what you want to do. So, to that, Red Stripes 97, I don't feel that there's any kind of I don't feel there's anything coming to me from YouTube, because YouTube, they don't see me. I'm not talking to Actman. So, if Actman came by, I would do my best to probably avoid him. I wouldn't touch any conversation with him with a 10-foot pole. If Quantum Leap came by, I wouldn't talk to them. Some of you might say, wow, if a big time YouTuber like Actman came by, you would be all over that. Like, no. That's the last thing I would want to do. And I advise any YouTuber out there to not talk to either of these people. Stay far away from these two people. YouTube's eyes are devoted on the Actman and Quantum Leap. Mostly Quantum Leap. They're right now looking, and they're checking all the channels that might be stirring up some dust. YouTube wants this shit to go away. YouTube made a decision. They sided with Quantum Leap. Even though Quantum Leap is a humongous, gigantic fucking piece of shit, on the level I don't think we've ever really seen on the platform. But YouTube said, you know what? We're going to make one choice here. We're sticking to it. Does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. But you know what else sucks? Worthless piece of shit e-beggars like ReviewTechUSA, and especially Camelot 331. Doggone it. For some of you that don't know, by the way, and I'll leave a link to it, Camelot 331, for instance, had a plot, a scheme to get up donations to fix a NASCAR. Yeah, some. I forget the details, but yeah. It's just, in the case of Camelot 331, also, by the way, for some of you that don't know, Camelot 331 talked about his patrons and everything, and talked about how his patrons keep him from, doggone it, jumping out of a window. So there's a giant there's a giant distinction in scumbaggery from, I think, ReviewTechUSA and Camelot 331. The latter, if Camelot 331, if his channel was punished or his monetization taken away, I wouldn't lose a lick of sleep. Well, in ReviewTechU's case, ReviewTechUSA is not a whole lot of sleep. In either case, I wouldn't lose any sleep. But if YouTube punished Camelot 331, I wouldn't really care. But I mean, ReviewTechUSA, he's not as much as a scumbag, I would say. Or is he been lately? I don't know. I don't keep up with this crap. Imagine caring and keeping up with this crap on the super level. Yeah, I don't know. My overall advice is to just kind of like avoid a lot of these channels if you can. And if you don't like this topic, it's really not that important. You know, there's a distinction, a lack of substance, I think, in this. I don't have as much interest in talking about YouTubers as much, and maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing for me because it's really not all that interesting most of the time. Now, this is kind of interesting because it's YouTube actually siding for a YouTuber and going out of its way to go out and go against channels just for talking about that. Now, it could mark a beginning of YouTube actually cracking down on commentary channels, specifically commentary on other YouTubers. You know, it could mark a beginning of that. So I guess it's always at the back of the mind of someone like myself who has some great commentary uploads talking about YouTubers. And, you know, maybe it makes perfect sense for a lot of channels, actually, if you care about your channels, to actually shift over and not talk about, well, you can still talk about YouTubers, I guess, but if you notice that YouTube is in the middle of it, then you probably want to avoid those situations 100%. Like, let's say, you know, if YouTube, what's a random YouTuber? Asmongold or whatever, I don't know. Let's say a YouTuber really started to focus on Asmongold. Is that how you say his name? I don't know. Well, then I wouldn't probably use that title in my thumbnails. I mean, it could be said, and did you say, oh, it was Sean that said it's because they keep milking it. Okay. So let's say past the point of conversation, let's say ReviewTechUSA and Camelot 331, they keep specifically milking it, meaning they have nothing new or interesting to add to a conversation about a YouTuber, but maybe they just want to talk about that just specifically to get views and attention. Okay, if they keep milking it, and maybe they have like 17 uploads on one person and they're all basically the same, then if YouTube sees that, then there would be a fear that they would have multiple like removals or community guideline strikes or whatever off of all those uploads. Now, if you have a thumbnail, and then, like I said, this thumbnail might be well, it's going to be Scott Bakula, but let's say you had the person. I don't know. I'm interested in this one question. I know this is all over the place, but it's just, you know, I'm working on a radical rapid fire. Really, this I'm not really working on. It's just for Red Star 97. I wonder if YouTube would be confused if you had a thumbnail of Scott Bakula and Quantum Leap, and you said something like, YouTube sides with Quantum Leap again. Excuse me there. Not gonna edit that out. If YouTube sides with Quantum Leap, I think if YouTube saw that their logo was there, so I don't even know what the thumbnail will be here, because, like I said, I don't have much of a fear of YouTube actually stumbling across this. But who knows? Maybe this gets in the algorithm and YouTube says, oh, there we go, Radical Rick, he did one, let's go after him. So it's a bit different when a YouTuber goes after you versus YouTube itself going after you.